My name is Jessica Lane, and this is the story of how my boss betrayed me, how my boyfriend stabbed me in the back, and how I came back stronger, took everything from them, and watched both of their lives fall apart. I was 26 when I got my dream job in a tech company in Chicago. It wasn't Google or Apple, but it was a solid mid-sized firm with a lot of potential. I wanted to prove myself, to climb the ladder, to make my mark. At the same time, I was dating Ryan Cooper. We'd been together for 3 years. Ryan was charming, good-looking, the kind of guy everyone seemed to like. He worked in sales at another company, and he always told me he admired my drive. Back then, I really thought I had it all. A good job, a loving boyfriend, and a future that looked bright. But I couldn't have been more wrong. At work, I was assigned a major project to design the marketing strategy for a brand new software product. It was the biggest responsibility I'd ever been given. I poured myself into it. Late nights, skipped dinners, endless coffee. I created slides, charts, user research, projections, the whole thing. Ryan often complained, "Jess, you're always working. Can't you just relax for once?" But I told him this project could change my career. He'd sigh, roll his eyes, and say, "Fine. Just don't forget I exist." I thought he was joking. My boss, Daniel Reed, was the kind of man who thrived on appearances. To upper management, he was slick, confident, always smiling. But his team knew the truth. He was lazy, manipulative, and loved taking credit for other people's work. Still, I believed in giving people the benefit of the doubt. I thought if I worked hard enough, even Daniel would see my value. I was so naive. 2 weeks before the big pitch to the board, I stayed late at the office. That's when I saw it. Daniel, in the conference room, rehearsing my presentation. My exact slides, my exact words. He didn't even notice me standing in the doorway. My blood ran cold. The next morning, I confronted him. "Daniel, why are you practicing my presentation?" He smiled and said, "Jessica, you're talented, but you're still learning. It'll sound better coming from me. That's just how this works." I couldn't believe it. He wasn't even ashamed. That night, I went home furious. I vented to Ryan, expecting him to be on my side. But instead, he shrugged. "Jess, isn't this how corporate America works? The boss takes credit, you move up later. Don't make a big deal out of it." I stared at him. "Ryan, this is my career. He's stealing months of my work." But he just said, "You're overreacting. Play along, and you'll be fine." It stung. But I brushed it off, thinking maybe he just didn't get it. The day of the pitch, Daniel walked into the boardroom with my work. I wasn't even invited. I sat in the hallway, listening, as he took credit for everything I had done. When the board applauded, I felt tears sting my eyes. Afterward, he walked past me, smirking. "Thanks for your help, Jessica. Don't worry, I'll mention you. Someday." A week later, HR called me in. Daniel had filed complaints, claiming I was unprofessional and not a team player. I tried defending myself, but they didn't believe me. 2 days later, I was fired. I went home destroyed. My career, my reputation, all gone. I told Ryan, expecting him to comfort me. Instead, he said something that shattered me. "Well, maybe if you had played the game, like Daniel said, you'd still have a job." I stared at him in disbelief. "You're taking his side?" And then, I saw it. A text message notification popped up on his phone, from Daniel. It read, "She'll be out soon. Thanks for helping me with the boardroom stuff." My heart stopped. I confronted Ryan. He admitted it. He had been meeting with Daniel behind my back, sharing my frustrations. even giving him details about my work so Daniel could polish it for the pitch. All because Daniel promised to help Ryan get into corporate connections. I felt sick. The man I loved, the man I trusted, had teamed up with my boss to destroy me. That night, I packed my bags and walked out. I left Ryan, I left my apartment, and I swore I'd never let them win. The next months were brutal. No job, no relationship. Just me, sitting in a cheap studio apartment, wondering how my life had crumbled so fast. But then, I remembered something. All those files, all those drafts, I still had them. Every email, every timestamp proving that I had created that project. And with nothing left to lose, I decided to fight back. I started freelancing. Slowly, I built a portfolio. I pitched my work to other companies, showing them the kind of strategies I could create. One company, a growing startup, was impressed. They hired me, gave me a leadership position, and trusted me with their biggest product launch. For 6 months, I worked harder than ever. And when our product launched, it was a massive success. Guess whose company we crushed in the market? Daniel's. Word spread quickly. Daniel's project flopped. The board blamed him. Investors pulled out. Within a year, he was fired. As for Ryan, he never got the connections he was promised. Last I heard, he was bouncing between sales jobs, still broke, still bitter. And me? I became the head of marketing at my new firm. A year later, I started my own consulting business. Today, I'm more successful than I ever dreamed. Sometimes I think back to Daniel and Ryan. They thought they could use me, betray me, break me. But here's the truth. They didn't destroy me. They built me. And in the end, they lost everything. I won everything. And that's my story.